If you've ever had that sudden, just excruciating pain of a gout attack, you know exactly how much it can knock you off your feet. But what if there was a way to not just manage it, but to actually prevent it from happening in the first place? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down an integrative plan to do just that. Let's jump right in.
So, you've probably heard gout get called the disease of kings, right? It kind of conjures up these images of old-timey royals feasting on rich food and wine. And, that's definitely part of the story. But the reality today is a whole lot more complex. So what exactly is this condition that can cause such unbelievable pain?
All right, first up, let's get to the bottom of this crystal-fueled fire. We're going to look at what gout actually is and what a flare-up really feels like from the inside out.
Okay, so what is gout scientifically? Well, at its very core, it's a kind of inflammatory arthritis. But the real villain of the story is super specific. These tiny, razor-sharp crystals of monosodium urate that start building up in your joints. Seriously, just imagine thousands of microscopic needles poking around in there, setting off this massive inflammatory alarm in your body. That's the physical trigger we're talking about.
And when those crystals decide to settle in a joint, your body's reaction is, well, it's dramatic. We're talking about a sudden explosion of this intense, throbbing pain. It comes with this bright red skin and just major swelling. For a lot of people, the first time this happens, it's right in the big toe. The pain can be so bad that even the weight of a bed sheet feels absolutely unbearable.
So we know what it is, but the big question is, why does it happen? Let's trace the path that leads to the pain and really understand the sequence of events that allows those crystals to form in the first place.
It's basically a four-step chain reaction. It all starts with something called purines. They're just natural compounds in our food and even in our own cells. Now, when our body breaks them down, one of the byproducts is uric acid. Normally, this is totally fine. Our kidneys just flush it out. But when the levels of uric acid get too high, it can't stay dissolved in your blood anymore. It starts to form those sharp crystals. And boom, that's what triggers the inflammatory attack. Simple, but incredibly painful.
Now, we can look at this problem from a couple of different angles. The standard biomedical view, well, it zooms way in, focusing on those urate crystals as the direct trigger for the inflammation. But a naturopathic view kind of zooms out. It sees the problem as a sign of metabolic congestion. Basically, the body's filtration system, your liver and your kidneys, are just getting overwhelmed and can't keep up. For a truly complete integrative approach, you really need to understand both of these perspectives. So, what's pushing your body into that crystal-forming state? Well, it's often a perfect storm of different factors. Diet is a huge one. High-purine foods like red meat and beer are the classic triggers. But it's also tied to things like being overweight, drinking too much alcohol in general, not drinking enough water, and even certain medications. And yeah, for some people, it's just harder to clear out uric acid because of their genetics or how their kidneys function.
Okay, so you're in the middle of a flare-up. The pain is off the charts. What do you do right now? This next part is all about immediate action. Think of it as your first aid plan for a gout attack. The single most critical thing you can do is hydrate, and we have a target, 3 liters of water per day. Don't just think of this as drinking water. Think of it as a therapeutic intervention. You are actively helping your kidneys flush out the excess uric acid that's causing all this chaos. This really is the foundation of acute care.
During a flare, you've got a 4-part mission. Number 1, put out the fire, reduce that pain and inflammation. 2, help your body get rid of the uric acid, get the source of the problem out. 3, give your liver some support so it can do its job clearing things out. And 4, the one we just talked about, keep hammering that hydration. Every single thing you do should be aimed at one of these goals.
Look, fighting off flares is one thing, but preventing them from ever coming back, that's the real win. So now, let's shift our focus to a sustainable, long-term strategy for keeping gout away for good.
This isn't about some crazy crash diet. It's about building consistent, healthy habits that stick. The key pillars are what you eat, so limiting those trigger foods like red meat, alcohol, and high-fructose corn syrup, while seriously upping your intake of vegetables, and especially cherries, which are fantastic for this. And then there's lifestyle, making gentle daily movement a habit, and maintaining a healthy body weight to just reduce the overall stress on your system.
And this quote really says it all. This is the key takeaway for prevention. Long-term success really does depend on consistent lifestyle engagement and regular monitoring. It's not a one-and-done fix. It's a commitment to your own health that pays off with lasting, incredible relief.
Finally, let's get you equipped with some specific tools. This section is all about the herbal and nutritional supports that can be powerful allies in your long-term management plan, working right alongside those diet and lifestyle changes.
Okay, this table shows some really powerful herbal helpers. Celery seed is a total rock star here because it's uric. That's just a fancy word that means it actively helps your kidneys get rid of uric acid. Nettle leaf is what we call a depurative, which means it helps cleanse the system. Turmeric, you probably know, is an anti-inflammatory powerhouse. And devil's claw is fantastic for pain relief, although we do need to talk about an important safety note on that one in just a second.
Now, beyond herbs, a few specific nutrients are absolutely crucial. Magnesium is great for muscle relaxation and kidney function. Vitamin C has actually been shown in studies to help lower uric acid levels in the blood. And omega-3 fatty acids are amazing for managing that underlying systemic inflammation.
All right, let's talk about that safety note for devil's claw. This is really, really important. While it's great for pain, it can also irritate the stomach lining. So if you have any history of gastric ulcers or even just significant acid reflux, this herb is not for you. It's just not worth the risk. When it comes to natural medicine, safety always has to come first.
And let's bring this whole thing full circle, back to our most important point. If you decide to use herbs that help you urinate more or cleanse your system, like celery seed or nettle, you absolutely must keep that water intake high. You're asking your kidneys to do a little extra work, so you've got to give them the fluid they need to get the job done safely and effectively.
You know, when you think about it, a gout attack is a very loud, very clear signal from your body that something is out of balance. That pain, it's a messenger. So the real question to leave you with is this. Now that you have this information, how are you going to respond to that signal?